good show, jolly good
Jolly
show.
good show, wasn't it?
Well, that was a great scene right there, wasn't
That
it?
was a fantastic scene. My favorite from Taming the Shrew.
Yeah, my favorite line was when Hortensio said, "For in Baptista's keep my treasure is, he hath the jewel of my life in hold." Because it really shows such a sexist qualities of this scene, like men treated women as objects that they could just take and have sex with. Isn't that
love
terrible?
that. It's great.
I love that. What the heck?
It just really gets you in the spirit of Shakespeare's time.
I don't know, man. Like, I hated it so much.
I really enjoyed one of Petruchio's lines where he says, "I will not sleep, Hortensio, till I see you. And therefore, let me be thus bold with you, to give you over at this first encounter, unless you will accompany me thither." This shows how quickly Petruchio changes from one mindset to the next, how brash he is, what an interesting character Petruchio is. And he thinks very highly of himself that, oh, I will give you over. I will no longer think I'll leave just because I'm wealthier than you. I can do whatever I want. And he's very headstrong in this passage, especially. Tells Hortensio he will not sleep until like 2 seconds after hearing what Kate's name is. He was really like, I'm not going to sleep.
Jeez. He's just a gold digger, you know? I don't know.
Interesting character.
Interesting character. Another of Hortensio's lines that I really like was, "That so I may, by this device at least, have leave and leisure to make love to her." Because it's like he's saying that he'll have sex with Bianca whenever he wants. Like, he doesn't care about her opinion at all. I'm like, why?
Yeah, he's just using his position as a musician nonetheless. Shame on you musicians out there. Shame.
A fiddler.
You know, my favorite character in Taming of the Shrew has to be the one that I played, Grumio. And the first line I'm going to talk about was, "Why give him gold enough and marry him to a puppet, or an aglet baby, or an old trot with a narrow tooth in her head?" That's just pretty much like, wow, women are nothing more than, especially marriage is nothing more than a means towards making more money. And especially for Petruchio and Grumio, that's all they really care about.
Well, Will. My favorite line of Petruchio's was, "Hortensio, peace, thou knowest not gold's effect." Oh my gosh, it really shows his headstrong ways, how aloof and over the top he is. Like, he's above everyone. It's shown that he's above everyone else. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He believes that he's better than everyone else.
It's like, it doesn't even matter if she has any redeeming qualities. She could be terrible, she could be great, as long as she has money, I don't care. Another one of my favorite lines from Grumio is, "Why, that's nothing, and he begin once, he'll rail in his rope tricks. I'll tell you what, sir, if she stand him but a little, and he'll throw a figure in her face, and so disfigure her with it, that she shall have no more eyes to see withal than a cat."
That's really gruesome.
It's quite gruesome, and over the top. So Grumio does a couple things here that just further his character as a comic relief guy. So first off, he's defending his master's quick wit and tongue, and in doing that, he mispronounces rhetoric as rope tricks. And rope tricks has no significance in this setting. It's just merely malapropism to show that he's not as intelligent as he likes to think he is.
Shakespeare's pretty clever.
He is pretty clever. Aren't you just on the dot with that one, John? And then he further on uses the hyperbole, and she shall have no more eyes to see withal than a cat. Which you think, like, cats can see pretty fine, right? Which is another thing where he's making all these connections that don't really make that much sense.
Yeah, there was that belief back then in Shakespeare's time about cats not being able to see well during the day, right?
During the day, yeah. But it's just interesting hyperbole that he's comparing Petruchio's clever wordplay with blinding Kate.
Well, a great theme that arises from the scene is the message of society should be fair and equal rather than manipulative and devious, because Shakespeare highlights all this unjust treatment, unfair treatment towards women at the time. That I don't think that he did this just to appeal to everyone during the late 16th century. I think he wanted to highlight that issue, that women should be treated more equal, that women shouldn't be treated as an inferior.
And he shows it in a very satirical way where it doesn't seem like he's defending it or promoting it. He's merely making fun of it. Shakespeare has an interesting way of doing that. Another theme he looks at is, like I before discussed, malapropism from comic relief characters. And a prime example of this, especially in this scene, is Grumio. He can't say things correctly. When his lines come out, they're all jumbled and strange, and it makes it really hard to understand what he's saying or what he's trying to say. But pretty much in the end, it comes out saying that Grumio is just there for jokes. Yet another theme presented in this act is the class restrictions that are present, and that's the differentiating factor between upper class people like Hortensio and Petruchio and lower class kind of subservient people such as Grumio and other servants.
Yeah, it's interesting because like during that whole scene, Hortensio doesn't even acknowledge Grumio at all. Like it was awkward doing the scene and just not looking at you, just trying to just talk to Petruchio. It's great. It's cool.
Yeah, and even though I, as Grumio, will address Jonathan most of the time as Hortensio, Hortensio never looks back or even talks back to Grumio. And that's just kind of shown how if you don't have power and if you're not someone acting in a position as power, maybe in a disguise or something, then you're not going to get nearly as much respect.
That's a good point. Well, I just noticed there's another interesting way that Shakespeare brings up class differences. It's like it's with meter and the way that characters talk, right?
Mm-hmm. And it's also to do with form. And you can see this, especially in Act 2, Scene 1, where Grumio, the servant character, who's a lower class, his talking is all jumbled up. There's no meter to it, and it's completely in prose. But the higher class characters, like Hortensio and Petruchio, they talk in iambic pentameter, and their lines are nice and neat, clipped off. They don't run over. There's no enjambment in the lines. And it's just,
all smooth.
Yeah, and it shows how maybe they're more educated or something like that nature.